Good morning. 43 degrees in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is 5:30 a.m. We are smoking some baby back ribs on the Oklahoma Joe. No, wait. On the OG PBC Pit Barrel Cooker. Let's go. So, for people that don't know, I am going to point out a couple of minor differences in the Pit Barrel Cooker and the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0. So, as you know, or most know, the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0 has a charcoal basket, an ash pan, and it's a drum style cooker. In the Oklahoma Joe is the diffuser plate, which you probably can't see because it's 5:30 a.m., and a grate with optional cooking hanging bars that is stored safely on the overhead compartment, and you can hang your meat in the barrel, which is mostly the style of barrel style cooking. So you can cook a lot of meat, hang them, and smoke them. In the Pit Barrel Cooker, if you don't know, this one happens to be probably 12 years old. I think it was my first barrel smoker, and I fell in love with the cooking style. This is pretty basic. It has a charcoal basket. This is an optional ash catcher to catch the ash so you can pull it out of the barrel, because it is not a two-piece barrel. It is a one-piece 30-gallon drum, plus or minus gallons. I don't know exactly how many, but they're approximately both 30 gallons. This is the original stand that came on it. It comes with a grate and hanging bars, which ironically control the outtake or exhaust of the pit barrel. The intake is set at the bottom with the dampener, and you set it to your elevation level. It's programmed, quote unquote, to run at approximately 275 degrees, which is pretty much an option, a glorious temperature to cook almost everything. In the bottom, it's just the barrel. It's got I'm sorry, it's so dark. It has places for the grate. You can grate and you hang your meat on the rebar that goes through the exhaust vents, and I will show you that when we cook the ribs. So you can grate cook in here, or you can hang stuff, and it comes with hooks. This is a 30-gallon drum dolly I purchased on Amazon. That's the original rack stand it comes with. This is the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0 thermometer I took out and plugged into the barrel. That does not come with the barrel. It's just basically a can and a basket, and you light it and you cook some meat. So let's see what happens. Hello there, children. Hey, chef. So people have asked me about my wood that I put in with my charcoal. Now charcoal is actually wood, but I like to add additional smoke flavor. So I use 3x3 splits. This little pile that I have left is hickory, oak, and mesquite. Hickory and oak are my go-tos. I use that for everything. I tried mesquite because it was a mix and match 3-pack from Furita Wood Supply. I really like that company. I'm not a sponsor or anything, but I've used them for a while. And they can cut it to any size you want. The 3x3 splits work really awesome in the barrel smokers. So I just grab a chunk or 2 or 3, depending on your options, put them in the bottom of the basket, and then add the charcoal to the chimney and throw it in. We'll show you that in just a minute. All right, turn up some lights so you can see a little bit better. So hopefully on the comparison, they're about the same capacity. This is a tiny bit larger. I believe it's pretty comparable in size, and as was the original Oklahoma Joe Bronco drum cooker. Maybe that one was a tad bigger than the 2.0. Again, I don't have any stats. I've had all of them. I've had the PBX. The PBX makes a equivalent 50-gallon drum, and that was insane. It was super fun. I think I have a couple videos on here with that one. Ended up being way too much for me. I don't host as much as I used to. Would like to host more, but we're aging out, man. So here's how I load my basket for this cook today. I just throw a couple splits in the bottom, and then sprinkle the coals. This is B&B lump, and I'm sorry, it's not lump. B&B briquettes. Almost full in the basket, and I do a little chimney to start to dump on top. What's often called a reverse burn, so I sprinkle them all on top so they burn down into the wood. I don't throw the wood chunks on top because they'll fire up really fast, and I kind of want them to go as slow as possible. Dampeners usually set 0 to 3,000. Where I'm at in Minneapolis, we're about 800 feet above sea level, and it's, you know, pretty much set. This sucker is over 12 years old. It's seasoned very well. It burns low and slow like crazy. So I am probably, today's cook for ribs, gonna open that dampener up and just let her buck. I will have the rebar in, so that will slow down the cooking process, the flow of air, the circulation. So she'll run hopefully close to about 300, 325. I'm gonna try and go a little hot and fast. I did some St. Louis ribs on this guy, with vents fully open, fired up. I was in a hurry, and I've heard of hot and fast. I've done hot and fast, but these suckers, they turned out freaking fantastic, and I did it again. I did it twice, and they were awesome. Those were St. Louis cut. These are baby backs, so, you know. And again, oh, here's the charcoal I use, B&B. I love these. You get them at Ace Hardware in my neck of the woods. One of my favorite charcoal briquettes. Do I use lump? Not really. I have in the barrel smokers. They run really well with briquettes. I've had a bunch of barrels and I enjoy them, so I like that. You can use whatever you want. Just kind of control your fire, control it at the temp you want, and go, baby. You can cook on pretty much anything. Maybe even that trash can. No, kidding. I've tried that too. That's a long story, but we'll get going here. Shut the garage door so I could get a little light in here. So the basket just drops in the bottom of the barrel. It's a one-piece unit. It does not have a diffuser. I did at one point modify this barrel, so you see that's where the rack goes. It's stock. Underneath here you'll see more bolts that I put towards the bottom where I could add a second rack. I took an aluminum pizza pan and drilled a bunch of holes in it and used it as a diffuser. That initially started, here's the diffuser, and this is stock on the Oklahoma Joe. Most people know. The purpose of that was I do injected pork butts, and they would put out the coals from all the juices. This is mainly why I bought it. The barrels smoke in convection style, so the heat just doesn't go straight up as most people would think. It circles. That's why it's round. It circles around and goes around the food. For the most part, I've never found that to challenge that. It's amazingly true. You hang ribs and they're touching the coals and they barely get burned on the bottom. It happens. Adjustments, all the things, all the fun stuff about barbecue, but they're pretty freaking amazing. I mean, the concept of these things, science, physics, I don't know, but makes good food. Eat. Okay, I don't have a tripod yet. I have attempted to purchase a couple and I failed. I'm sorry. So what I have here is Holy Voodoo from Meat Church, my go-to. I think I've said that in some videos. I love this seasoning. It's awesome. Costco ribs, 3-pack. Sometimes there's membranes on, sometimes not. I don't think membranes are a big deal. I will just score it if there are membranes on this. Scoring it just means I'm just going to take it and run the knife over it in a crisscross pattern a couple of times. You can take it off, you can leave it on, you can do whatever you would like. It really is not detrimental to the cook. So what I'm going to do is open them up. I'm going to pat them off, and on this cook, I am going to, these are the pit barrel hooks, tiny bit different than the Oklahoma Joe, only because of the bars they hang on. So the little connections are a little smaller and skinnier on the Oklahoma Joe, but essentially the same. So you hang them, and generally I would cook just 3 racks and hang them. You can daisy chain them in case they cook them a little tender and they fall off, which means you put one hook and then you hook that into another hook, or you can hook them on either end. So halfway through the cook, you can flip the damn things. So it works pretty awesome too. Or what I'm going to do today, because I'm going to try and go afterburners on this cook, is I'm just going to split the ribs. I'm going to cut them in half. So instead of hanging three, I'm going to hang 6. So I will show you that in a minute. So I'm going to, again, I'm just going to take them out, pat them off, score the membrane if it has it, and cut them in half, hook them up, and put some Holy Voodoo on. Let's go. Choppy, choppy. Okay, so I cut them in half. Well, there was membrane on one. I scored it, just ran the old blade across it a bunch of times. Hashtag cut. And the other 2 were pretty clean. So that's all I did. I seasoned the back, I seasoned the front after I cut them in half, and I hooked them. So you run the hooks in the back side or front side. Usually the back's what I do. I don't know if there's a really, whatever your preferred method is. About 2 to 3 bones down. Okay, so you just stick them in the back of the bone there, run them through, and then you hang them on the little loops. So we're gonna let these sit. Can you do these the night before? Absolutely. Can you do these and wrap them up and put them in the freezer? Absolutely. I'm gonna let these sit for about an hour and a half while I get the coals going in just a minute. It is 43 degrees here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and hot dish. And what I don't like to do is season them and let them sit in the fridge for, oh man, over 20 hours, because the salt starts to cure the meat and turn it into ham. I've done it, and chicken is not good either. I think you're pickling it at that point. It's, you know, oh man, these are going to be seasoned. I'm going to season them for a really long time, dry brine them. Yeah, watch that. I would, because again, it turns the meat into something else. You may like it. I don't know. Don't actually try it if you want, but I don't. So yeah, they're just gonna sit out here in my garage, and I'm gonna get ready and fire up the old pit barrel cooker. I use these little wax cubes. I like these things. I've used the tumbleweeds. You get them little shavings all over the place. So little wax cube by Amazon, cheap ones. Ugh. Little half chimney. They make them for the pit barrel, so they're not the tall stacks. So you can get them in the circumference there when you sprinkle them on the coals. So yeah, just fire up the chimney and give her 20-30 minutes to get a little white on top, and then we'll dump them on. Ribs are sweating nicely with the Holy Voodoo, getting some color in there, pulling out a little moisture, all the things that it does. And we're gonna throw them on when we get the grill up to temp, or close to. And 25 minutes later, approximately, coals were ashed over in the chimney, and we sprinkled them on top of the basket. Rebar is in. It's still on the dolly from Amazon. We took the grate out, as we will not be using it, and we put the lid on. Boop. There we go. We'll let this fire up, and we'll hang the ribs. It's about 8 a.m. I am hanging the ribs. You saw the process prior. I know sometimes I repeat myself because I'm taking clips, right? Put it together at the end. So, you know, I'm an amateur, so at everything. But yeah, here we go. Pit barrel cooker, over 12 years old. Making some ribs, baby. Ugh. There we go. We'll check back in an hour. I know I said I'm gonna open the intake. This is a quarter open, approximately, is the 0 to 3,000 sea level. I'm gonna leave it at this for the first hour. I want about a 4-hour cook. So I'm gonna check it in about an hour. If it's cooking kind of slow, I'm gonna open that up. Generally with these barrels, you set it and forget it, and they've done awesome. But again, I've had this for over 12 years, and she's seasoned up nice. It cooks really low. So I've increased it a bunch of times. You just adjust as necessary. But I'm shooting for game kickoff at noon, Vikings, so let's go. Let's do some foiled potatoes too while we're at it. Found some potatoes in the old pantry that we gotta use up. So I just uniformly, as best I could, quartered them up. Some of the bigger ones you gotta, what do you call it, eighth them, I guess. Yeah, look at me, I know science. Wait, math, yeah. So yeah, quartered them up, rinse them off, quartered them up, threw them in some foil pans. We're gonna butter, seasoning, foil them, throw them on the grill for about an hour, hour 15. Shake them up halfway through, she'll be delicious. Holy moly, I was just about to jump in the shower, came out to have a little peek. She shot up to freaking, according to the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0 thermometer, 400 degrees. Holy crap. Crispy air, I don't know. It happens, it's barbecue. So I just closed the dampener all the way, which isn't all the way. It's still got a little crack in it. So I'm just gonna slow her down a bit. Only been on a half hour. She's gonna be fine, this happens. This is the art of barbecue. So we'll come back, take a peek. Just wanted to show you guys that don't freak out, man. It's only been 30 minutes. And I got some wood splits in there too. So she's gonna settle down. See you in a bit. Hey guys, took a shower, got dressed. You didn't need to know that, but it's been a half hour, 9 o'clock. Just shut her down a little bit. It says 275. Now remember, these things aren't accurate. It's just kind of a guide. These don't come with temperature gauges, and it's not really extremely important. I like to kind of just gauge it, take it for what it is. But yeah, from 400, indicated to 275 in 28 minutes. So we're just rolling it right here. It's been 1 hour since they've been on. So we will check it in 2 hours and see what the ribs look like. Oh, and look who's making a guest appearance today. She was jealous that I was cooking on the PBC. That was my first one. So, my fiance wanted to cook potatoes, foil potatoes on the grill. So I am hanging ribs here. So I am going to cook foil potatoes on the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0. Let's go. Woohoo! Dueling barrels. Got the ribs on the left and the PBC. Got potatoes on the right and the Oklahoma Joe Bronco 2.0. I did 2 pans, and obviously they don't fit side by side, so I stacked them. I'm gonna run them, half hour flip, half hour flip. Temp's coming up, gonna bring it up to probably 300 degrees, 275, 300. Got an hour and a half, I think, till kickoff. And ribs are looking good. I'll show you those in a second. They're cooking a lot faster than I anticipated, but that little half hour of 400 degrees kind of kicked them up a notch, but we'll wrap them and keep them warm until kickoff. So see you in a bit. 2.5 hours in. Here's what we're looking at. Great pullback on the bone. Probably about 185, 190 internal at different spots. Lots of fat pockets. The probe is kind of good feel on the ribs. Great cook. Super fast, man. The pit barrel usually says about 3 hours on ribs. We're at 2.5. Of course, you guys know it was 400 degrees for half an hour. So, yeah, looking good. Now it's, 10:30. Kickoff's at noon. I have to slow her down a little bit. So I might let it go a little bit longer and then wrap them, kind of rest them. I don't want to get it too much past 200 degrees because I don't want them to fall off the bone. But, man, look at that, baby. Looking great. We'll check back in just a minute. 3 hours in. Ribs are close to being done. If you're rocking the PVC, I bought these little fishing magnets. You can get them on Amazon. This is your exhaust, right? Your dampener. So basically it acts like this sucker, but it has no shut off. So I just cover up the holes. I was gonna use the oven, foil them, throw them in the oven on warm, keep them warm. We're about an hour away from kickoff. But my fiance wanted to make brownies. Yeah, brownies. Snoop brownies? No, just regular brownies. So I just wrapped them up in foil, right? Threw them in a foil pan, choked the heat down a bit. I got myself a little warming oven. You gotta improvise, baby. Sometimes I've done this 4 hours before and the ribs took 5 hours, 5.5, 6 hours. It happens, it's barbecue. Potatoes are still trucking along. I just flipped them. It was at 300, I turned it down. I got an hour to go. They're probably a half hour, 45 minutes from being done. So we're looking pretty good. Will the ribs overcook a little? Yeah, maybe, whatever. They'll be fine. Clowns that come over here, they don't care. They're eating free food. So, yeah, we'll check it out when I pull them off and cut them. See ya. And there we go. Delicious ribs. Not gonna lie, they got a little overcooked, so they're falling off the bone, man. But they're They're delicious. Nice smoke ring. I overshot my time here. They cooked really fast. Tried to hold them out till kickoff. And yeah, but still delicious. Yeah, they're not like they fall off the bone for sure, but they're good. If you like what I'm doing, hit subscribe, and I love you watching. Make some comments, and let's talk about barbecue. Thanks for watching.